Hey people, so I'm starting something new. It's going to be called BDSM in the Media. This one is the inaugural one, and I'm going to be talking about things that I see in the media regarding BDSM. Specifically more of TV shows and things that have BDSM elements and what they got right and what they got wrong. Today, as you can tell by the title of this, below, to the side, to the left, to the right, whichever way YouTube has it today, is going to be the show Elementary. In a recent episode, which I'll get I'll get a name of the episode and everything in the description. I want to talk about the beginning of the show up to, I think, like the first 15 minutes, dealt with BDSM in the periphery. It was important to the plot, but only as a minor plot point, even though it was pretty much the whole beginning of the show. The show begins with Sherlock and... Well, let me first off explain something. I like the show. Okay, for anybody who thinks I'm not, I'm dissing the show, I'm not. I like the show. To me, it's the beer to the martini that is Sherlock. Okay, Elementary is a good show, and it's well written. But I have some issues with some of the things that happened. Some of them good, some of them bad. So let me just start from the beginning. It starts off with Sherlock and Holmes in a gym. I guess he's training Holmes to defend herself. And he picks up the phone and says, "Hello, mistress." Okay. I have an issue, a small gripe with that. First off, anybody who knows anything really, that's been around the community for the longest period of time knows that you don't call somebody by master or mistress unless you have a sub-dom relationship with them. Now, this wasn't explained. Now, this might be, maybe immaterial gripe because they might have a relationship. I just didn't see that in the show. The way they explained it is that how Holmes knew this woman was that they met and had met over a display of medieval torture devices and had conversation and realized they had several friends. And that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. My issue is particularly if Holmes is as smart as he is portrayed in the show, he would have never said just mistress. It just would not have happened because he would have known enough about the protocols of the community to know this wasn't. Second, the character of the mistress was a pro-dom, not a lifestyler. Okay? Which is, I have my issues with pro-doms, but again, the situation of a rich man bringing a pro-dom into his, pro-dom to come in and spank him and humiliate him and stuff like that is very common. So it's not, that part I have absolutely really no issue with. Once they get into the house, and I have some notes here, I actually wrote some crappy notes. I don't usually write notes when I do videos, but I'm doing that for this. When they show in the house, the police are there, Holmes and Watson are there, and the mistress is still there with the dead man in a latex bodysuit on the floor. Okay, my main issue is, number one, even if a pro-dom was to come to your home, yes, underneath whatever she was wearing, a trench coat, a dress, or something would have been the outfit she had on, and she would have had a toy bag that had the crop with her. But we don't ever see these things. In fact, she is standing there, still completely, in her dominatrix outfit, and not covering herself up. I believe this is completely unrealistic. Because the thing about it is that even in our community, when we are dealing with the vanilla community, we try to be modest. We don't, what we might wear in a play scene is not what we would wear in a vanilla setting. And if we were going between the two places, between a vanilla setting and a play setting, we would have other clothes to cover ourselves up. Especially if you're wearing nothing but a skin-tight outfit, stockings and boots. You just don't walk around, even in the city of New York at 9:30 at night, with that kind of outfit carrying a crop. It just is not something that's realistic. Second, or third, or 10th, or 50th, her standing there over the dead body with the police, and she still has her prop in her hand. I understand it's a great visual. I understand it's for the storytelling it seems salacious or whatever. But the bottom line is there's no way the cops would allow her to carry this weapon. And I own several crops. Okay, they are weapons. You can use them as weapons. I play with them. One of my favorite play toys. Okay, in fact, the type of crop that she had, which was a black leather crop, is something I also own. It is something that can be bought at any pretty much any tack store where you're going to buy equipment for horse riding. So this is not an uncommon piece of kit inside of a toy bag. The fact that she has the crop, number one, still in her hand when the cops are there, is very, very not normal. It would not happen. Second, she actually uses it to hit a chair in the presence of the police officers, and they basically do nothing but flinch. Okay, no, they would not allow her to, they're in the house with a dead body, they would not allow her to continue to hold a weapon. Okay, now, in that scene, I do have to say that Holmes did call her by her full title, and I do like that. Same with the others and so on. And I'm not going to get into how she looked at the male officers and things like that. And I've known females, female dominants that are, that have that attitude of, all men are, weak scum, blah 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 kind of attitude, and I don't like it, but I understand it. Okay. One thing that I did like, which was right on the money, which was when Holmes went to the body, lifted up the collar of the latex suit and stuck his hand inside, and did not feel any talcum powder. When you're putting on a latex bodysuit of this type, number one, it's fucking hard as hell. I've not worn a latex bodysuit, but I've had several friends that have had worn latex bodies. It's just exactly what Holmes said was right, which is if you're going to put on a latex bodysuit, you need help. This is not something you can do by yourself. And the fact that when the character, the mistress, came into the home, that he was already in the bodysuit and the full mask and everything, I understand that. I do have an issue with another part that she just shows up and the door's unlocked and she immediately goes into play. That's BS. There's always some negotiation. There's always, especially with the pro-dom, you dealing with the money situation first, you're dealing with the financial situation, you're dealing with making sure that everybody understand the basic rules and stuff. Even though that you might still be in dom mode, you at least are going to go through basic protocols and rules before you start doing anything at all. And for her to just immediately go into dom mode and go, this is the way that some slaves are, which first off is BS, that a mistress would say that to a police officer, is to me, is the writers didn't actually do, they did some base research on the community and then kind of ignored it. Did some dramatic license that I think was not that good for what we're doing. Later, they went to, there was a scene of Holmes using a bullwhip. I don't like the fact that he was using a bullwhip without either glasses or a hat or some type of safety equipment. I believe that was a major oversight in the writing, because if Holmes, having been what he was, he would have known to use some kind of safety precautions, some kind of glasses or hat or something to protect his eyes, especially when you're talking about a bullwhip. So, and his style of whip was pretty decent. So they obviously got somebody in who taught him a little bit how to use a whip. There's only the next major thing they dealt with was inside of a leather shop. Obviously, they went to a real leather shop. This was a real, I'm not sure, most likely New York, which is, I think, where they're shooting it. They went to a real leather shop, and the leather worker said something that was dead on the money, which was, the police officer asked, without a warrant, for the name of the person who bought a particular item. And he said something to the effect of, he's not going to do that without a warrant because the cops have a tendency to, authorities have a tendency to go after the more sexually adventurous of among us. And I agree with that. That he was dead right on the money. The cop called it a sex shop. It's not a sex shop. It is a sex shop, sells mostly porn, and sells, porn and dildos and things like that. This was clearly a leather shop, a leather fetish shop. Okay, if you're going to use that, then write it so that it actually sticks along. I understand that he was, a cop, not knowing really anything about the community, blah, 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 but it had been called a leather shop, and, within the confines of the scene. And the last thing was, and this is more of a personal issue. This is more of a, not really this is a personal issue with society more than it is with the show. I think that the show actually got this kind of right. That apparently the latex suit was bought and put on to the gentleman to humiliate him, to enact a morality clause within the person's contract. Things like this are absolutely BS. I think that morals clauses are absolutely garbage, because what they are basically trying to say, you can do this, but you can't do this. You can fuck your wife all you want, but yet if you decide you want to fuck a stranger, oh my god, and you're married, oh my god, how horrible, you lose everything. And I have a major issue with that. Overall, again, I think that this portrayal of BDSM in the media was not as bad as some of the others out there, and I will be getting to a lot more as time goes on, but that's pretty much it. Again, I think that if you're gonna do BDSM in the media, contact somebody who's in the lifestyle. Okay, if you're watching this, you want some information about about your scripts and stuff like that, please contact me. More than happy to help. So, and I'm not looking for a ton of money or whatever. Just contact me. I'll see. We'll come up with something, and I'll make sure I can help you. So. That's it for now. Check the links below. Do all that stuff YouTube's likes. That's it for now. Be well and safe.